Let me tell you something. He should be better for the next woman than he was for you. Uh-huh. Yep. Get out of your ego and hear what I'm saying. He should be better for the next woman than he was for you. You would have crashed dummy, baby. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to tell you that men tend to mature and learn slower than women do. And I had a friend that I had a conversation with about this the other day who made a wonderful point. He said, men are not being taught how to be husbands until their wife is pissed off at them. We are groomed, generally, women and girls are groomed for marriage, from the time that they're children. They're inundated with this idea of, how to twist and contort yourself into the perfect woman so that you can be the wife who will satisfy him. Men are not being taught to be husbands. They are simply being taught to acquire wives, which means
generally no one's teaching them how to be a lifelong companion. They're simply being taught how to catch the woman and catch the income and be the protector in some cases. They may even know quite a bit about how to be a dad because they either had a good father who was a great example or they had one who was a horrible example and they know to do the exact opposite of what he did. But no one's teaching them how to love and grow with a woman as a partner who they respect as an equal. And to be quite honest, how many people are teaching women how to love a man as an equal partner? In this day and age, too many are still being taught to be a submissive servant. They can kind of feel their way through the dark and figure out how to be better dads because they know what they needed and didn't get. And they can do a very good job of reverse mimicry. But somehow when it comes to relationships with women, they've been convinced in the same way that women have been bamboozled by this gender wars BS that we are so incredibly different that they consider themselves to be all thumbs and they give up on the idea of trying to figure out how to be the companion that that woman needs them to be. But what if I told you that we're actually not all that different? Yeah, there are some significant differences that we have. But if we learn how to truly respect one another as sovereign human beings, it doesn't have to be so difficult to figure out how to be there for each other. You know, it's true. Men are victims of social programming too. They're told that, in order to be a respectable man in our society, you grow up, you get an education, you get a good job, you get a house, and then you go out and get a wife like any other household appliance. Now, of course, there are some women out there who are not groomed to be wives. They are being groomed maybe by people in their family, examples that they've seen growing up, or some of the popular content out there on the interwebs. They're being groomed to be these savage gold diggers. They don't want to be the household appliances that a lot of other women are being taught to be. So they want to flip the script and turn the man into the workhorse. Well, that type of dynamic is just as destructive as the other. But I digress.
often their first marriage will be the starter marriage, the guinea pig marriage, the test marriage. The best thing that you can do as a woman, or young woman, or a young girl is to be wise enough to not be the crash dummy or hold out or figure out how to find you one of these very mature anomalies. Because let me tell you, older don't necessarily mean mature. A lot of the ones who are older haven't learned the lessons that have been knocking them upside the head. So, you got to be prayed up, meditated up, smart in the brain, just ready for the world, really on top of your shit, and really have the self-control to hold that and the discernment to really figure out what type time these men are on so that you can, avoid being a crash dummy. And honey, if you do want to be the crash dummy, that's up to you. It's a whole lot of women out there that are willing to be. If I had known going in what I know now, I don't know if I would have done it. But, things happen the way that they should. I have two lovely children. I've learned some very valuable and very marketable lessons as a result. So, all in all, it was a win for me. We know that there is a campaign to humble women going on right now. So this is yet another one of those things that is used against women to make them feel as if they are responsible for the behavior of men. If you were the woman that he was with at one point in time and he later matures and gets with another woman and becomes a better person, somehow that is your responsibility. But you know what? Oftentimes we all have maturing and growing up to do. You should be a better person in general 5 years, 10 years from now, 1 year from now. We are all supposed to be getting better. I should most certainly be better for the next relationship than I was in the last one because of the things that I should have learned and the character development that I should be, in the process of completing at all times. So this idea that you should have somehow been able to magically morph him into a better person is bullshit. The same way that he's not responsible for your character development, you're not responsible for his. And why hold that level of resentment? Who has the mental space? Who has the heart space to sit around and worry about what he is to the next woman? And especially if you have children, you want him to be better for that next woman because the children are going to be observing how he treats her, and that's going to be creating an example for them. The next relationship that either of you get into should be better than the one that you guys had, because that's growth. That's called growth. Side note, this applies to any type of serious relationship. I mentioned marriage in particular, but this goes for all of the teach me how to love, dudes out there, and anybody who is in a cis-het relationship where the man is severely lacking in his interpersonal, and relationship skills.
You can teach him how to love you, and he can teach you how to love him, because you are both unique individuals, and that's what the relationship is about. It's about getting to know each other and growing together. But for somebody to get into a relationship and be so codependent as to expect that person to teach them how to be a decent human being, I'm sorry, what your mama didn't do, your therapist is going to have to, because that part is what all of us have the responsibility to do on our own. As we go through life and we live our lessons, we are presented with myriad options daily for the paths that we can take and the choices that we can make, and those things shape our character. Nobody can teach you that. That's your choices. How to be empathetic and how to treat other people with respect. Taking the time to deconstruct the BS social programming that teaches men that women are beneath them and that they don't desire or deserve or need the same level of respect and care in a relationship. That kind of stuff, no woman can teach a man. He has to take the time to unlearn it. Some men are up to the task and they're willing to do that good work. Others never will. And you, as a woman, have to be able to tell which ones are doing the work and which ones are not.
My name is Miss Frizzle. If you want to learn something, you better watch some of these videos.
This is Inanna Joy, sharing a few of the things that I've learned and some things that I'm still learning with you. Thanks for jumping in the joy well with me, where we examine what it means to grow and to live and love through life's joy, pain, sunshine, or rain. In the joy well, you will follow your bliss to your purpose. You will align with your joy and live well. See you soon.